Great rising. Living through your vision. I'm so sorry. Let me see. Great rising, new next level consciousness. You know what? I gotta get myself acclimated to. I'm so used to living through your vision, because that's exactly what we, should be doing. But this is the next level. This is the next level. So next level of consciousness. So I gotta become a little bit more acclimated. And it's so funny, I knew I was gonna make a mistake one day doing a live and accidentally say, I've caught myself several times, but I knew eventually it was gonna come out. But great rising, everyone. This is going to be a short, simple, and sweet video. I just wanted to put something out there relevant to decoding. This is something that I've learned or am learning, I should say, from Ashira, because I kind of somewhat knew that there were messages in music and in Hollywood, because that was the way that was the only way that could actually get out, through stimulation and the programming, as what television does, movie cinema does, and in music in terms of frequency. But I just, never really connected the dots in a manner to decode it, because, a lot of times, even though we know the music has a message, I never really, I took the message literal. I never really thought to decode the message. And it wasn't until Da Vinci Code and different things started to pop up that I started to have some sense of simulation that maybe there is some coding, but it wasn't really of an interest to me at the time, because I guess, as I said, I wasn't on the right frequency at the time for it to resonate with my true being. But I just wanted to say, to give you an idea, so that you can start, when your frequency raises and you elevate your knowledge, you'll start decoding certain songs. As a child, I have always been a fan of Michael Jackson. I think he has millions and gazillions of fans all over the world. But for me, there was this connection value that I had, to which a lot of folks might say the same thing, because they love themselves some Michael Jackson. But for me, I can only speak for my experiences within myself. There was this thing that I had for him that was just, it wasn't it wasn't a fan thing. I just always knew that he was something, and there was this really extreme connection. So I always grew up loving Michael Jackson, and always knew that there was something there. Just couldn't really articulate it or explain it, but I always knew that there was something there. And come to find out, when I got, in alignment with Ashira, she liked Michael Jackson too. And I said, well, ain't this a bitch? And she went on to explain about, how very deeply esoteric Michael Jackson is, and majority of his songs is coded. So, I was like, okay, and then all of a sudden, one day in the past few weeks, it came to me about Billie Jean. Now that I understand, the crystalline being and us being light beings and everything like that, Billie Jean, the genetic aspect of it, in the video, every time he stepped, it was in the night, it was in the darkness, the setting of the video was in the darkness, and every time he stepped, the sidewalk lit up, which represents the crystalline being, right? And Ashira didn't break this down into the video or anything. She only breaks down the lyrics and stuff like that pretty much, but she didn't break this down. So I made this association of what he was trying to show. So people that were woke at that time knew exactly what he was doing, right? They knew exactly what he was doing. But of course, we loved him. We took the music from a literal perspective, and we never, so if you look at it, listen to the lyrics and see the video, its setting is in the nighttime. Every time he walks, the sidewalk lights up, which represents that he's the eumelanated crystalline being, right? Children of the sun. And if you look at the lyrics of what he say, Billie Jean, like 40 days, 40 nights. Well, the 44 and 00. They're in numerology, just like 2020, the 22s and the 20s. They're synonymous into the numerical value of the universe, somewhere in the sacred geometry, which is connected to a frequency. That's all I gathered, and this is something that I come up on my own. This is not something that I've read, but just coming, I had some kind of epiphany this morning and some type of download that I'm getting in terms of like decoding the significance of what he actually mean. That's why in the Bible you have 40 days and 40 nights, because it's significant to the numerology aspect of a certain frequency. And this is why Jay-Z, named his club 4040, although they tell you it's another meaning, but there's a much deeper meaning to it, more so than the surface value meaning that, society or a sleeping society would accept, right? So, 40 days, 40 nights, him stepping on the sidewalk and it lights up. Billie Jean, the gene is terms of the eumelanated gene within the phenomelanated gene, which is the Billie gene, and which is the fake gene. So it's like, or the non-crystalline gene is not my lover. So Billie Jean is not my lover. So Billie Jean is not associated with me, but she says I am the one, because that means that the phenomelanated being is saying that the eumelanated being is the one, the crystalline one, but the kid is not my son. So he's saying that he can't really, that you're not a part of the sun, the children of the sun, right? So and he's talking about like the world, he's not talking about a relationship and a woman having a baby, and like how they were saying about what's her name, I can't think of her name, she's in the music industry too. They thought it was associated to her with her having an illegitimate son from Michael Jackson, which from a literal perspective, it's easy to associate that with that, but that's not what it is. It was all esoteric in nature, and so when you're actually decoding it, you see what he mean. So that she was Howard, Mickey Howard, yeah, they thought that the song was in reference to Mickey Howard, and it's not in reference to Mickey Howard. He's actually speaking esoterically in code, and for people that are there, they'll be able to pick up the information and understand exactly what he's saying, to which he had been trying to wake us up for a very long time, and he couldn't really do that, directly. So he used his music to influence. That's why he was such a powerful influence on the world, because of his frequency. And I think even though they wanted to call him whatever they wanted to call him, that wasn't who he is. And people could believe whatever they want to believe, because the low vibration, what people fail to realize, that it is what it is. Until you understand the aspect of the frequency part that is relevant to all things, what we may call the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, you come to realize that this is just the illusionary aspect of it, because the truth of it is that it is what it is, right? Because of the frequency, because the frequency gonna represent itself to be whatever it is, regardless of what we put towards it, right? Whatever name or whatever language, whatever we put it towards it, it's going to read what it's going to read. It is what it is. We the one that breaks it down to whatever we need to break it down to create an excuse or create whatever. But that's the illusionary aspect of it, right? So that's why I keep, emphasizing, and on each video, I'm going to emphasize the frequency aspect of our existence. And even into Tesla, in order for Tesla to incarnate in this existence, in this human form, he had to incarnate during a lightning storm, because the frequency that a lightning storm produces, that was the only way in frequency that he was able to incarnate in this existence with his higher level of frequency that he came from. That was the only way, right? So when you start making the connections, you'll realize the lies that have been told to you, first of all, but then you'll begin to really understand how to really exist in this dimension. And you start by decoding the songs. Like I say, Billie Jean and what year was Billie Jean written? I think it was like in the 80s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, 70s or 80s or whatever. So late 70s, early 80s or something like that. I think it was on his Thriller album, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very coded in nature. It's telling you that, I am the one, meaning that I'm the original son. I am the one. I am the origination of the frequency being. I am the frequency being. I am the energy being. I am, I am that I am to everything that exists, right? So it's telling you who you are. I honestly think that, like I say, we, in my interpretation thus far, and trust me, as you grow in frequency, the more information comes to you, you start to change. You start to change. So, and the information becomes a little bit that much more clear and cogent. But I honestly think that until the curse is reversed, and I think that that's what's happening now, until the curse is reversed, and the true being of the oppressed being resurface in frequency, because the children of the sun frequency as a collective is the only frequency that is going to assist these entities into what it is that we came here to do. And that's if they really want to leave. And now they really want to leave, because they realize that the earth has made, when the earth decided to stay where it was and wasn't making any moves, they wanted to keep us slaves. But now that the earth has decided to change in frequency, they need to reverse the curse, because they realize that in order to reverse the curse and for them to really have some chance of survival, is that the true essence of the true humanity being frequency has to be from underneath the curse, so that the frequency can raise, and maybe it'll raise at the frequency that is unknown, that they cannot find synthetically, to generate whatever it is that they need to generate, so that they can get it from out of here. Because if it doesn't happen, then that's it for them. They never, it's coming to an end, but then that's it for them, in a sense of having bodies to incarnate in, and doing what they've been doing, since the beginning. So if this doesn't make any sense to you, I can definitely more, do my very best to try to explain it. It's like I said, it's like a download that I got this morning, in terms of like putting it together. And that's funny, that Billie Jean came to me, and this is the information that I got as a result from it. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, so that you guys can, have a sense of, understanding, to start looking at things from a coded perspective in the music. And it'll come, you know what I'm saying? It'll come. If all you got to do is just right now, I know it's easier said than done, but just focus on your frequency. Keep your frequency high. Don't allow things to infiltrate. And one of the things that I also want to say, like, the way we look at death and how people are dying and stuff like that, or what have you. And I know at a surface value, because trust me, if something happened to my children, my mother, my husband, my family, I'm going to feel the effects of it. I am, because that's the human side of me. That's just what it is in this dimension. So I'm not taking away from that. But I also know that there's no need to worry. It's just the only thing that would make me feel this type of way is because I'm going to miss them. They're, the physical side of them, because I'm still in the physical, you understand? So it's not to say that I mourn their death or anything like that. It's just you no longer have them here in the physical, but the essence of them, of who they are, the energy of them, of who they are, they will always exist. It'll always be there, so it kind of gives you a different perspective of life in terms of, how these people end up dying and the tragic death. And, we want justice and in everything. And in this dimension, it makes complete sense. It's not to take away from it. It makes complete sense. And that's the, that's okay. It's not to say that it's a bad thing. That's okay. But, as you evolve and elevate in your frequency, I want us to get out of the mourning of death. Because there's no such thing as death. And I know it's hard to fathom. I know it's hard. You're going to be like, Patrice, what did you drink this morning? They must have spiked your coffee or something like that. We put a lot of emphasis in senseless death. And don't get me wrong. I really want to make it clear. I get it. And like I said, I have children. I have a family. I have, so if something were to happen to them, especially in a tragic way, that would definitely get me mad. That would definitely get me upset. That would definitely create an emotional value. But on the essence of the creation of the change, I just want also in the back of your mind to say, yes, I get it. He's not really dead, or she's not really dead. The essence of them, the energy of them is infinite. The consciousness of them is infinite. They're back to, the freedom of their true being, their true self. We just miss the physical side of them. But, what we have to realize is that the physical side of our existence is just a blink of an eye. It's just a blink of an eye. It's not like we're here forever. Because the thing of it is that you don't want to, it's low vibratorial, because they've taught us to mourn death instead of celebrate death. If we understood this, it's a celebration and not a mourning, then it would change the frequency. Now, in terms of, how a person dies at the hand of low vibrational situations, right? Low vibratorial situations. And the only reason why these things exist is because of the misinterpretation of the Bible. They took it literal about murder and different things of that nature, when that wasn't the correct interpretation of it. So, you don't mourn death, you celebrate death. You always keep your state of mind in a sense of high frequency. And then you start to understand, okay, well, if you understood why we celebrated death instead of mourning death, the only component that you may have in this incarnation being here on earth is that you would just simply miss them. You would miss their physical presence. But deep inside, if we had a higher frequency, and if we just knew that they're now in a transformed sense of consciousness, we could still communicate if we were high in frequency, because our frequency levels would allow us to telepathically speak to them in the frequencies and different things of that nature. So because we don't understand that aspect of it, we keep ourselves at a lower frequency by, hey, hey, my king, what's up? Grand Rising, everyone, may the light of your heart be the beacon for the world. I love you too. We love you too, Eddie. We love you too. How are you? I hope you have an amazing 4th of July. I'm out on the road. trying to get some last minute things done so I can go to my brother's and start, because I know he's starting early. I hope you have an amazing 4th. I don't really celebrate 4th of July in terms of the low vibrational aspect of it. But in terms of family, I've learned to transmute that frequency into something positive. Y'all know my spiel. It's almost like it's a mantra now. Oh gosh, yes. I'm just I'm just doing a little video for you guys to catch later, because I know today is going to be a busy day for most of you. Oh, you're at work. Okay. Oh, okay. But it's a paid holiday. So what happens? Do you get, were you off yesterday, or how does that happen? You get a floating holiday, being that you're working on a holiday, or do they just pay you double time? But yeah, so for me, I just want people to start to look at things from a different perspective, because if you really start understanding things, as I stated, in a frequency sense of understanding, it would change your whole perception, even in how you maneuver and how you move. We're not supposed to mourn death. We're supposed to celebrate death, because that's the freedom from this incarnation. They're free from the low dimension and the low frequency of this dimension, right? So oh, okay, that's good, that's awesome, that is so good. That's one of the benefits about working with city, local, federal government. They treat us pretty decent. They treat us pretty decent. So we're not supposed to mourn death, because that's a low vibratorial frequency. I know that the way that people die, this is really the problem. But we also have to understand that it's a part of the process. It's a little bit complex, because like I said, a lot of people are not, they're not feeling everything that's going on. But the thing of it is, this is the trickology to it, is that if we did just raised our frequency and change the dynamic of the frequency and what we believed in, a lot of the things that we're going through right now would just simply disappear, because it doesn't have the frequency in a low vibratorial sense of understanding or aspect to support it. So if the low vibration is not there to support it, then it just does not exist. It will fade into black. But it's kind of hard to for a person to understand it in that way, because we've been taught for so many generations after generations to understand it the way that we understand it, and that's why it still exists. So it's all about the raising the frequency and understanding ourselves, our true selves. And the only way we can understand our true selves is that we have to stop and first recognize that what we know and how we know it, it does not resonate with you. It's all about you. It's all about you and what resonates with you. So I just want people to really get a sense of understanding of how important you are. You are very, very, you are the most important thing since anything. I always remember these words that I told you. You are the most important thing since anything. Okay? And if you break down the lyrics of Billie Jean, right? He's basically, everybody, like I said, they thought that song was in reference to Mickey Howard. No, it's not. It's not. Look at the video. Every time he steps, the sidewalk lights up, because he's humelinated. He's a crystalline being. He is a crystal. He's a Christos being. Billie Jean is the receptive gene, right? You're not my lover. She's just a girl that's saying that I am the one. I am. You are the one. but the kid is not my son. That means the child does not come from, is not a eumelanated child. They do not come from the sun. So you get what I'm saying? So when 40 days and 40 nights, that's significant to the numeral, the 44 and the zeros, right? Which are the zeros are part of a binary code. The 44 is a master, one of the master numbers. So in numerology, he even threw the numerology aspect of that. I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that it's encoded to a frequency. So when you start to elevate yourself in that frequency, this is why Jay-Z has the 40-40 club, because he's working from a frequency perspective now. He's not, and when people name their businesses, Gucci and all of these other places, they are naming their businesses from a frequency perspective. This is why their business is so successful, because they're not just naming their business just to name a business. They're naming their business now from a frequency perspective. So you have to kind of somewhat sense understand that aspect of it. And like I say, just start listening. Michael music is very heavily coded. It is very coded, and now I'm getting it. And I don't know, like I said, Billie Jean came to me this morning, and I woke up and I'm like, and I'm trying to think if Ashira actually decoded this song. I don't think she did. I'm gonna bring it to her, but I'm gonna try to inbox her and see if she'll respond, because I'm sure she has like a zillion people responding to respond to. But I'm gonna ask her, and I'm gonna break down what I've come to sense to understand, to see if it makes any sense. But yeah, that's what that is, in my opinion. And I think once we get a sense of knowing thyself and knowing who we are, we will better understand the messages. Just like when I Missy yell it, flip it and reverse it, right? We need to reverse, so now I get it. Like the other day I just said, wow, I get it. I freaking get it now. I get it. And I know it's not easy, and let me explain something to you guys. In your own timing, there's no rush, because trust me, I had to get where I'm at in my own timing, right? So no rush, in your own timing, but know that if you're listening to this video, know that this information is meant for you, right? If it resonates with something within you, know that this information is meant for you. And that's how you move on to the next level and the next level and the next level. Things will start dropping in you. But this is how we are of service to each other. We put out what downloads that come to us, that makes sense to us. And it may not make sense to everybody. But that one person or that two person or these group of people, it may make sense to them to help assist them to the evolution of their next their next experience, for the evolution of their next, for their ascension. So it's we are of service to each other. We are of service to each other, right? So I just wanted to put that out there this morning to give y'all something to think about. Start listening to some of the music if it's very coded. Start looking at some of the movies that is very coded. Like Hancock was very coded. That's why Will Smith was in there. What's that lady name that's from Africa? I can't think of her name. But yeah, she was in there. And they were telling you, what they were really telling you is that the divine feminine energy is really the power, and is the most powerful. Because remember, in that movie, because that's a metaphysical movie too as well, in that movie, she was stronger than Will Smith, right? She had more powers than Will Smith. So they're telling you what the real truth is, but they won't put a eumelanated face there, because the frequency wasn't high enough. It's not. They want to keep it at a. They can't go against the grain, but they will show you, because they have to. It's like But they want you to find it. They want you to find it. They have to put it out there. They have to put it out there in order for them to be successful for what they're doing. They cannot go against universal law, because the law of correspondence and all those things, it's applicable, but they're manipulating the belief system, because they can't manipulate anything else. The only thing that they could manipulate is the belief system, because they realize that the belief system is at your free will, right? So if they could manipulate it in that respect and get you to believe in something, then it works for them. But when you start to get into the understanding of self and what it is, the truth of you, and you start to believe in something else that is in opposition of the manipulation of what they want you to believe in, then your frequency is going to rise. It's going to change. That's why they keep constantly inundating you with the negative stuff on the news. Everybody get killed, got shot, got robbed, all of this negative, low vibrational things that they want you to watch. They're programming your mind by watching the TV. This is why they constantly inundating you with all the negative. Remember, it could be equally positive news that is out there. And we always say, well, why is nothing good coming on the news? Why is always bad? Why is always problem? Because they have to constantly feed you negativity. They have to keep you at a low frequency. Because if our frequency rises at a level, it'll take them out of commission. Because then you're going to wake up. You're going to wake up. Because of crystal, you can't. You're going to wake up if they don't constantly suppress your frequency. If they don't constantly keep it suppressed, you're going to wake up. You're going to wake up. And that's what's happening now, because, the energies, when they were the television, tell lies to your vision, the, social media and all this other kind of stuff, it is, it's very beneficial as suppressing frequencies. Right? So, but now, because the earth has made a decision, the universe, the planetary systems, or however you want to call it, has made a decision that enough is enough. They're running out of they're running out of options now. They can't now. They have to reverse the curse. They have to. This is why you see that Black Lives Matter, and they're arresting the cops. They're doing all of this stuff now that they never used to do before, because they realize that they have to reverse the curse now. They have to get the crystalline being at a high enough frequency, because now they need to be. They realize that they don't have no recourse in terms of the recycling, because if you don't no longer have Earth to recycle to, that's why they're trying to get Mars now, as a habitable planet. But if you no longer have Earth to recycle to, for these recycled beings to create a heaven for you in your hell, then what are you going to do? So now they got to reverse the curse now, because they running out of time, and Earth has decided, the universe has decided, the planetary system has decided to take Earth out of 3D. The universe has decided to do that. And now they realize that. Don't think that they don't know. They know what's up. They know what's up. So the frequency of the Earth has changed, right? So, and it's going to continue to change. It's not going to go back. It's going to continue to change. So, start to learn to decode the things that, start to understand the messages in the music from a frequency perspective. Put yourself in frequency of high frequency all the time. If anybody knows that I never used to talk like this. This is a totally different type of language that I'm speaking right now. That is so fluid, and it's so clear, and it's so cogent. And that's because I'm awake now. You understand? I'm awakening. The things of what is truly within yourself, the knowledge that is in yourself, it's awakening. You understand the system now. You understand. You actually, I posted something this morning, is that now I overstand everything, because now my higher self is in control over my lower self. As above, so below. You understand what I'm saying? So now I overstand, as above, so below. So now my higher self is now, my lower self was seeking my higher self. And now my higher self is now assisting my lower self. Because as above, so below. Right? So when you elevate your frequency and you raise your vibration, it changes the dynamics of things. And I'm going to put this out there. This is my perception. This is my opinion. Everybody's awakening is different. You understand? Because you guys have to realize that you hold a peace and you hold a sense of knowledge, because knowledge is infinite, but you hold a sense of frequency of your own that is in connecting to the point of reference for the greater good of mankind. And the elevation of that in synchronization, in unisys, will change the dynamics of this existence. If the crystalline being ever is able to radiate at its true nature, that is why it was so important to know thyself, so that you can find thy truth, because to find thy truth will raise your frequency naturally, and the natural raise a frequency which nobody knows the frequency of what that really is. This is what they're trying to replicate. This is what they're trying to figure out, but they can't figure it out because the frequency that created us is unknown to man. But it is very real and it exists. Right? So we can do it. We are the ones. That's what Michael Jackson said, I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Meaning said the kid doesn't come from the son. Billie Jean, fake Jean, is not my lover. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what he really meant. Right? So I just want people to really start learning, keep your vibrations raised, listening to 524, 532, listen to the hertz that raises your vibration. Listen to only music that you know that is in tune to a frequency, a high frequency. Do not listen to music that lowers your frequency. Start reconditioning your body, because trust me, it will change your health. You won't get sick. It'll slow the aging process. It does a lot. Your frequency does a lot. Eat differently. Eat foods in high frequency. Even when your frequency raised, you're not going to even want slaughtered meat. You're not going to want slaughtered meat, because you realize that that's low and that's dense, that's low in frequency. It's going to be natural. For those who still want to eat meat now, that's fine. But as you raise your frequency, it's going to change you. It's like you're going to change, in my opinion. I've noticed that that's what's happening to me. I don't want the meat. I don't want the slaughtered meat. Even now, the smell of it. I went and bought the kids some tacos the other day. And when they put the tacos in the car, it's like I can't even stand the smell of it. And I love me some tacos. I love me some tacos. Some Tijuana flats and all. I love me some tacos, right? But, now when your frequency changes, it just changes the dynamic of how you respond. Like, it's just a natural thing. It will be natural. And once these kids, and that's why these kids that are being born now, because the frequency has changed energetically just on a natural sense. The children that are being born now are at a higher frequency than us. That is why their energy, they're bouncing all over the walls. They talking about ADD. They want to slow them down. Do not put your child on any type of medication or anything. It is their natural frequency, their high frequency that is here to change and shift the world. This is why they want to put you on medication to slow that down and stuff like that. But they can't slow it down now because they're running out of time, because the universe has made a decision to pull Earth out of 3D. So that's why they're starting to be nice to us now. Because we're the only ones that can save them. This is why we're starting to see the change. It's sad, but it's the truth. It's the truth. They have no choice. They have no choice. And they've been trying to study Mars to see if that was a habitable planet, to which it is. It's a habitable planet. They have life on Mars that lives underground. But they want to survive. So it when you start learning the things and start connecting it all, always remember that everything has a point of reference. It's a reference to everything in connection to all things. And when you understand it, your point of reference, when you get to that point of reference so that you can understand the true connection value, it's a beautiful experience. It's almost like dancing and waltzing. It's so smooth. You see how the waltz, do, 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 the waltz and stuff like, do, do, do. It's a waltz. It's a dance. When you go to point of reference to here, point of reference to there, point of reference to here, point of reference to there, da, 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 da. It's a beautiful dance. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. So I'm going to end here because I got to go in the store and do things. But I hope that this video is enlightening. I hope that it makes some sense to you. And if not, and like I said, we can always have the discussion and to get sense of clarity. But know that the clarity is only going to really resonate when we start raising our frequencies. Always, and I constantly keep saying frequency, raise your frequency. Do not listen to the news. Understand death. Understand that death is not to be mourned. Death is to be celebrated. Yes, we can, rally for the cause of, the way people die and stuff like that. But if we understood that if we raised our frequency, then those low vibrational situation would just fade into black, and people don't get it because we're used to staying stuck in one gear. Right? We're used to responding in the way that we respond. And I know it's hard because it was like, that's an insensitive statement. Yes, it's designed for us to look at it that it's insensitive, but it's the truth. It would disappear. If we understood how this thing really truly worked from the beginning, we would not be where we wouldn't even have these issues to deal with. That's where I'm getting with this statement that I'm making. Right? So I hope that, that makes sense to you. Like I say, it's a beautiful, to me, I feel amazing. Like I get it. I remember when my best friend that died, I remember when he told me that he's like, Patrice, I get it. I got it. And then 3 days later, he died. It's like, once he got it, it was like, that was over. He was done. He left. He just, he's like, I'm done. And, so when you get it now, it is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing, So with that being said, peace and love. Let's have a dialogue. We are 6 members strong, and trust me, that's a big thing. That is extremely big. Don't let the numbers fool you, because there's power in this group. Believe you me, it's a lot of power in this group. And I'm so fortunate and grateful to be amongst each and every one of you. We just have to really, really know ourselves and understand ourselves and the value to which we really truly are, our true selves. We are some very powerful people. Our inner being of who we are is extremely powerful. Very, very, beyond measures. You would not be able. This is why Jay-Z and Oprah Winfrey's and all of the melanated people that are billionaires, because they got it. This is why Kanye West had a seat with Trump, because there was a frequency identity that was there, regardless of whether we don't have to like Trump. You don't have to like him. Everybody free will is at will to do whatever they want to do. But now I get it. And it's like a peace that surpasses all understanding. Now I get it. All right. So love you guys. Love you. And I shall commence to talking with you guys later. Have an amazing, beautiful day. Let's enjoy our sun, because that is the true essence of where we come from. Let's enjoy it. And we are that I am. You are that you are. I am that I am. All right. Always remember that you are the power. You. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Bye.